This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and do me a favor and hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Here now's the news for December 5th of 2025, Walt Disney's birthday. So, happy heavenly birthday, Walt. And speaking of Walt Disney, talking Walt Disney figure has been released at the Magic Kingdom. It is $169. So I may be $169 poorer after this. I don't know. I might buy it. I may not. I don't know. It just depends on the situations. But I may have to buy this. I don't know. Just depends if my bank account will allow me to or not. Extra Phantasmic performances have been added to Disney's Hollywood Studios for the Saturday after Christmas, which is December 27th. The show will be, it's usually performed twice a night, but that day it'll be performed 3 times a night, one at 6:30, one at 8 o'clock, and then one at 9:30. Disney usually does this during the busy holiday season, so it's really no surprise that they've added another performance to Phantasmic. But again, this is when I'm blocked out, so I can't, but you have three chances to see Phantasmic on that Saturday. As far as we know, that's the only day that they're doing it. We haven't seen anything else, so it looks like for now, Saturday will be the only night that they are going to have 3 performances. 2025 daytime schedule has been confirmed for Mickey's Once Upon a Time for Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade at the Magic Kingdom, December 22nd to December 31st. It will run 2 times a day, one at noon and then one at 3 o'clock. The Festival of Fantasy Parade will not be running. Instead, it'll be Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade. Again, this doesn't affect me because I'll be blocked out. But if you are heading to the Magic Kingdom, if you're one of the very few lucky annual pass holders not to be blocked out during the holiday season, you can catch the Christmas parade between December 22nd and December 31st. Again, one at 12 o'clock, one at noon, and then one at 3 o'clock, weather permitting. Although this is December, so it's usually not rainy, but again, this is Florida, so anything can happen. So again, weather permitting though. Guest performs chest compressions on a man who collapsed during the nighttime parade, Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away parade at Walt Disney World. Another guest was able to jump in and help this guest who was having we don't know if it was a stroke or if it was a heart attack, but they were able to jump in and help this guest. The fire department was called, and this guest kind of took over until the fire department was able to get there and get the guest to until they were able to help the guest. So it is, it is nice to see guests helping other guests. I know we usually only report on the bad stuff. People punching each other, people kicking each other, people throwing stuff. But, it is nice. It is really nice to see these kinds of stories. Because it makes me think that humanity is not gone. That there's still really, wonderful people left in this world. So that's, the story is not, the story is, horrendous, but it is nice that there are still good people left in this world to help out. Disney cast members honor 100 years of Magic Kingdom steam trains at the park. I know some people are going to come in here and they're going to be like, What are you talking about? Magic Kingdom's not 100 years old yet. No, but the steam trains are. So those trains, the 2 trains that, although I think they only have one running right now because of the construction, those steam trains, those are 100 years old. Those were built in 1925. And then Disney, what's the word I'm looking for? They refurbished them and brought them to the Magic Kingdom, where they still operate today. So, that's great to see the cast members celebrating 100 years of the trains. Disney's not going to do anything for them, so Disney's not going to do anything, for special for the trains. So it's nice that the cast members did do that. So that's really nice. That's really, really nice. Rivers of America totem poles have been removed from the Magic Kingdom. Bit by bit, they are, tearing stuff down. So those of you that remember this, if you were it was visible on both sides. It was visible on the steamboat, and it was visible on the train as well. If you were on the riverboat, obviously the Native Americans faced you. So that Native American camp there, that's what's being taken down. And then the train, if you were riding the train, you saw the back half of it. So you saw the backs of the Native Americans instead of the front. So on the boat, you were facing the front. If you were on the train, you faced the back of them. So, but they're really, they're intensifying construction with this on this project. Again, I know people are going to come in, they're going to argue with me about the Rivers of America. I don't really care, okay? So, if you want to argue about the Rivers of America, go right ahead, because I'm going to be reading the next story I'm going to be reading really hurts my heart, because it hurts every time that I read about this. So, the Rivers of America people, I'm sorry. But, this next story is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. All right, so now this next story is Muppet Vision 3D windows and awnings have been removed at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Those obviously were fake. The windows and the awnings were not real. They were just fake windows, but those have been taken down now. So, bit by bit, my heart is just sinking lower and lower and lower. People go on and on about this, Magic Kingdom thing, how they're ruining Magic Kingdom. They're not ruining Magic Kingdom, okay? It's very, very hard to ruin the integrity of the Magic Kingdom, okay? Now, Epcot, they've already ruined it, okay? Now there's some vestiges left of Epcot, but Epcot is pretty much gone at this point, okay? And the same thing with Animal Kingdom. Not a whole lot of Animal Kingdom left. Dinosaur is really the only thing left. Once that goes, dinosaurs, or Disney's Animal Kingdom will be gone. Same thing with Disney's Hollywood Studios. The vestiges of the MGM Studios park is disappearing, and in its place is this new park that's really just a mishmash of stuff. Okay? It's the same argument with Epcot, and it's the same argument with Animal Kingdom. Okay? They're ruining the integrity of Animal Kingdom. They've ruined the integrity of Epcot, and now they're really ruining the integrity of Disney's Hollywood Studios. Okay? So, people are like, oh, they're ruining Magic Kingdom by putting cars and villains in, and it's like, no, they're not. Okay? No, they're not. Okay? If they were going to put, I don't know, cars in Tomorrowland, then it would be like, okay, that seems kind of odd. Why would you put cars in Tomorrowland? Okay? Putting cars in Frontierland, the setting that they chose makes a lot more sense than, putting Monsters Inc. in at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Okay? And I really hate to be that guy, but Disney's Hollywood Studios was really a theme park that celebrated peeking behind the curtain on how they made your favorite movies. Okay? It's like, the old me is like Toy Story Land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Monsters Inc. Land. Those don't belong at Hollywood Studios. Okay? They just don't. All right? Now, I'm not going to argue with Galaxy's Edge, because I really like walking through Galaxy's Edge. Toy Story Land, that's a different story. I don't really like Toy Story Land all that much. Monsters Inc., we'll just see. I really have better faith in this regime than I did with the Bob Chapek regime, but again, Monsters Inc. doesn't really fit into, the integrity of Hollywood Studios. It just doesn't, okay? Same thing with Toy Story Land or Galaxy's Edge, okay? And I know some people are going to go in the comments, and they're going to argue with me, but what you have to understand is, maybe you didn't grow up with MGM Studios, okay? Disney MGM Studios was a lot different than it is today with Disney's Hollywood Studios. It is a completely different park. Now, there's there's shining moments with it. Beauty and the Beast is still there. Indiana Jones is still there. The Little Mermaid is still there. But, other than that, there's really nothing left of the MGM Studios days. There really isn't. Okay? So, and they've decimated what Disney MGM Studios stood for. They've decimated what Animal Kingdom stood for. They decimated what Epcot stands for. What Epcot stood for. You cannot physically decimate the Magic Kingdom. There is no way you can do that. Okay, unless you're going to put, a ride in a land that makes no sense. Okay, and then you're like, okay, I don't really I don't know about that, okay? But you physically cannot ruin the aesthetic of the Magic Kingdom. You just can't. There is no way. No way. All right, so, people, I'm tired of people having this argument of, oh, they're ruining the integrity of Magic Kingdom. No, they're not. No, they're not. Take a look at Hollywood Studios. Take a look at Epcot. Take a look at Animal Kingdom. Okay? If you don't think that they've ruined the integrity of those parks, then you need to reassess, you need to reevaluate your way of thinking. Because they've decimated those parks. They have completely decimated what those parks stood for. Okay? So, I don't want to hear anybody complain about how they ruined Magic Kingdom. Because there's no such thing. There is no such thing. Okay? But they've ruined the other 3 parks. The other parks, they're gone. There's nothing left of those 3 parks. Nothing. Okay? Except, a few, shining moments in those parks, but the Epcot vision of a city of tomorrow, that's gone. Hollywood Studios no longer peeking behind the curtain, you're no longer going to Hollywood to peek behind the curtain on how they made your favorite movies. That's gone. Animal Kingdom is no longer about a park mostly that celebrates the history of the outside world. They're done. They're gone. Okay? So, people that complain about Magic Kingdom and them ruining it, they need to get over that. They need to get over it, okay? Because there's no such thing. There is no such thing. Alright, now that I've got my rant out of the way, let's continue. Walt Disney World buses crash on Buena Vista Drive, which is, thankfully no one was hurt. Thankfully no one was injured or killed. It was a Mickey Mouse bus and a Minnie Mouse bus. So it is kind of, I know that, this is a serious story, but it is kind of amusing that it was a Mickey Mouse and a Minnie Mouse bus that collided. Okay? So, again, I know that this is a serious news story, but it's kind of ironic. Kind of ironic that a Mickey Mouse and a Minnie Mouse bus collided. Alright? It's like, it would be like if a Donald Duck bus collided with a Daisy Duck bus. That would be kind of like, that's kind of, that's kind of ironic. Valet employee at Walt Disney World was arrested for stealing $1,200 with guest checkbook. Now, I do want to reiterate that this valet employee was not a Walt Disney World employee. Like most of the businesses on some of the businesses on the property, they are a third-party contractor. So the valet service is part of that third-party contractor. It's just wild that this valet parking person got stole $1,200 out of this. They stole checks. Yes, kids, look it up. People still use checks. I know it's hard to believe, but people still use checks. So they just forged the name and were able to steal $1,200 worth of stuff. Luckily, it was a red flag for that company. They the bank got wind of that, notified the person, and the person was, able to say, no, I didn't make those purchases. They were able to track this person down, and they were able to arrest the person that used the checks. So that's so justice was served. Justice was served. And our last story is custom Disney phone cases can no longer be ordered at Disney Springs. This was at the D-Tech shop in Disney Springs. When I went on my date, we went into that store, and I was like, oh look, that phone case thing is no longer there. I wonder why. Now we know why. Now we know why, because it's no longer there. You can still do it at, you can still order phone cases at the shop in the Magic Kingdom, but in Disney Springs you're no longer able to order phone cases, which is bad if you have an iPhone. I have an Android, so they never had phone cases for me anyway. So no big loss to me. I know probably a lot of Android people are probably not happy right now, but it's like, if you sold Android cases there too, maybe, again, I don't know why this place, why they got rid of the phone thing. Maybe business wasn't good. I have no idea. I would assume business wasn't good, but maybe if you have a phone shop, maybe you could sell both iPhone cases and Android cases, because not everybody in the world owns an iPhone. I know Disney wants you to think that everyone owns an iPhone, but not everybody in the world owns an iPhone. I don't own an iPhone, for example. So, going to the D-Tech shop to look at phone cases was not appealing to me, because I don't own an iPhone. So, but if you missed the shop, let me know in the comments, but, I don't know. But, maybe they if they could have sold both cases, both, iPhone cases and Android cases, then maybe they wouldn't have gotten rid of the thing. I don't know. I really have no idea. But, but just let me know. But there you are. There is your news. I know that this is on a different schedule. I did the news last night and then today. I knew that there was going to be a lot of news, especially yesterday with all of that all of those D23 announcements. So I was like, I have to do the news. Yesterday I was like, I have to do the news today, because there is a lot of news, and if I don't, on Wednesday's show, it would be at least like an hour long. So, if not more. So that's why I kind of did a different schedule. So, but I'll be right back here on Friday to record the news on Friday, and then maybe next Monday we'll get back on that schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. So I know that this week was a special occasion, so but if you like this video, please hit that like button. It really helps me out here. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. Guys, have a great rest of your evening. Please wish Walt Disney a happy heavenly birthday. And remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.